So, Toji versus the Culling games. What's up, guys? I'm Pencil here to do a breakdown / live reaction and review to Toji versus the Culling games. And I'm a little bit excited. No. Mainly because I think Toji souls a lot of it. Like, a lot of it. Like, I'm trying to think, who does he lose to? It doesn't seem this is similar to the Mahito video that I failed to live react to because, like, the recording software didn't work. I'm going to be sitting here for a minute recording software, you had to work, but I'm trying to think, who does Toji explicitly lose to if you give him the Maki scaling? If you assume it's Prime Toji, you give him this full kit, who does he lose to out of the antagonists? Like, he'll have struggle with some pro tag, but I'm trying to think, who? I don't know, but I'm excited to take a look into the book. No reading Rainbow type beat. So editing me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? The guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Any other fun fact, I like to yap. I like to yap a lot. Like a lot. Like a lot. Like, this video is 47 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm at least doubling that. We're talking about Toji too. I'm more of a Maki meat muncher, but I am a Toji toe taster on the side. So, like, I'm going to be here for a minute. So, if you want to check out the original video, it'll be linked in the description down below. It is by Six. He did a collab with Broken Ronin, from what I can tell by this immediate page, apparently. And I'm excited. Those are my favorite content creators. I need to go check out some more Broken Ronin stuff and add that to the channel's catalog too. I feel like have I reacted to a Broken Ronin video before? I don't think for the channel. I don't think so. I need to fix that. But two fantastic content creators. Both of their channels will be linked in the description down below, along with a link to the original video. If you want to go check that out, please do. Like I said, I will be yapping, like, insanely, like, innately, like, superhumanly. Like, I'm a yapper, y'all. So, I warn you. And regardless, whether or not, go back there, tell them I sent you. Of course, this video has, like, 45,572 views. I'd be shocked if I get 1,000. But still, regardless, I do think you should go check out the original video, leave a comment saying I sent you, but you probably found Six and Ronin before you found me, which makes sense, because they're both fantastic content creators. So let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Psych! I want to yap a little bit more. For Toji versus the Culling games, like I kind of mentioned in the intro, I do sort of believe that he solos a lot of it. If we're going specifically by the format I think they're going by, which is we aren't covering the protagonist, we're simply covering the antagonist. And I really say protagonist because the only issues Toji will run into are Maki and Yuta. That's it. To be caught off guard by Yuta's well, and again, Yuta's back at the time wasn't that deep. It's just cursed speech, right? Really, right at the start of the Culling game, like, I think it is legit just cursed speech. So, like, cursed speech, Yuta versus Toji may just be a Toji wash. But that aside, oh, Toji needs some headphones. But that aside, I'm trying to think, out of the antagonist, he low diffs Higuruma, because Higuruma's the main won't work. He low diffs Reggie and his entire crew. He low diffs who am I thinking? Curse Naoya, because he's literally Maki. He violates Ryu. I love Ryu. I'm a Ryu rider, but Ryu has no speed feats to argue he's anywhere near Toji, and he's an SSK victim. His durability is fantastic. What does it matter if it's negated? And he doesn't seem to have RCT, so he wouldn't be able to regenerate if he even had the ability to perceive his own soul and perceive the construct of the soul and then use RCT, which I don't think Ryu has any capability to. Earl would be difficult at first because of the whole space bending thing, but either A, you argue Toji blitzes just because Earl doesn't necessarily have the speed feats to argue she doesn't. She doesn't get blitzed by Toji. And or Inverted Spirit Heaven, pop that. That's a low diff. What else? I'm trying to sit here and genuinely think, like, who's Kashimo? Kashimo could be interesting, but it's just base Kashimo, because I don't see Kashimo activating Mythical Phantom Beast Amber against Toji because he's not Sukuna. So I'll let you take Kashimo out of character. It's base Kashimo versus Toji. And once again, while I used to have Kashimo winning that matchup, I'm going to redo that very same battle because now I think Toji kind of just slams base Kashimo. Mythical Phantom Beast Amber is weird because specifically it's also mentioned to enter that superhuman realm that Maki and Toji are described to be in, like that beyond human capacity realm. And also, Kashimo just has a lot more lore implications to be really, really strong. I'll talk about Kashimo and his scaling, like my revised thoughts on it in another video as well. But overall, base Kashimo, while he's very impressive, he just doesn't really have the stats. Which is crazy to say about Kashimo of all characters, but he doesn't really have the stats or the hacks or anything to imply that he'd be able to do much. And here's the thing, right? If you really want to get crazy with it, Kashimo may not be able to do any real damage to Maki and Toji with lightning if you assume his lightning is at least the same level as Sukuna's New Waste lightning. if you think they're at all comparable, 15-finger Sugaru's lightning is comparable to Kashima's regular bolts, which I don't think is too crazy to say. Comparable. You may be able to argue Sugaru's are stronger. In fact, I know many people would. Then Kashimo can literally do no damage to Toji and Maki. They would just sit there and face tank everything he has to do. So I think they low-key kind of solo. And I'm talking they. It probably just Toji, if it's Prime Toji with all his tools. But let's see what Broken Ronin and Six have to say. Let me see. What's this disclaimer? Me and Ronin recorded this in the middle of April. Wow! This video came out a month ago? April? Not too long ago. That's a 4-month gap, though. But that goes to show you. I recorded my collab with Flame. It took me like a month and a half to edit all of it. Because it was a thick video. Like, it was Sukuna versus 7 Deadly Sins. So it did take a while to edit. But still, I get it. I understand. It does take a while. But let's actually have the video itself.
All right, Ronin, why don't you get us started with just Tokyo Colony 1? Any character?
Oh, no intro. We just hop right in.
Throwing them up against Toji.
So, to start it real easy, I mean, I feel like we can put Toji up against Reggie. Out of all of the characters that are at least notable that we can put Toji up against, I feel like Reggie is the one that requires the least amount of interpretation or really just scaling that is all that difficult. Reggie was fighting Mega.
The only way, I'm going to say this because I'm assuming I'm going to say something very similar. The only way you could do anything to get these two in the same dimension is using that weird behind argument about Prime Toji back in Shibuya. Oh, well, Megami was able to do something to Prime Toji and react to him somewhat, and then Megami gets stronger post Shibuya after he heals up and gets a cursed energy boost, and thusly, Reggie slams. That's the only way, and no one believes that. I've seen people try to downplay Toji and Maki because of that Megami fight, and y'all are wild. Like, I still have faith in my glorious heavily restricted base against characters like Yuta. Obviously, it's against characters like Akari. Even against a character like Yuji, who I've seen a lot of people shoot up to the heavens, even though in my opinion, his position hasn't changed all too much. He did a lot, but he did too little, and he's too specialized, at least in my opinion for Yuji. I know it's crazy. I'll talk about where I think final Yuji scales relatively. And I saw 100 had a video on that. So I may actually react to that and talk about it in there and make my own separate video on it. But with that being the case, like, even Max, okay, I get you having matchup issues with this, and obviously they lose to Gojo and Sukuna. To say that Toji and Maki are all limited by that fight is genuinely ludicrous considering the entire rest of the narrative that surrounds it. It would just jack up everything. Like, don't get me wrong, there have definitely been some times where, like, scaling flips on its head in a series, especially in, like, discussion of a series, like, 7 Deadly Sins / Four Knights is a good example, where for the longest time, certain characters were considered fodder, but then, like, they got new feats in Four Knights, and then that flipped entirely on its head, or vice versa, where characters who seemed very, really strong kind of just ended up being fodder and featless. For my 7 Deadly Sins fans out there, Prime Mael. He's not even top 15. All you Prime Mael fans, I need you to go to bed. Stop. I hear you in the comment section. Stay away. But ultimately, yeah, there's no way for it.
Let's see. He lost. Toji was fighting Megami. Megami did not think there was any version of himself at the time that could win. I feel like against him, this is like there are very few, I think, requirements necessary to even get someone to understand that Toji absolutely obliterates Reggie. Reggie kind of just relies on a mix of close quarters combat and his receipt curse technique, neither of which being all that pressing against someone like Toji. I mean, we see, especially in the anime, Toji is even more overbearing. You know, those big trucks that Reggie sent Megami's way, and that was like one of his big attacks on top of the house or whatever.
That's true. Like, the anime, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It took the Shibuya arc from what, in my opinion, was already a fantastic arc in the manga and leveled it up to 57. It had some, like, due to, like, some translation stuff, it did some weird things for the manga. It showed things off weirdly, but we ended up getting those rectified and explained as actually being possible later on. So technically the anime now really just has no issues. In fact, it was just ahead of its time in some cases. But with that, like, anime Jogo versus manga Jogo, two entirely different characters. Like, I wouldn't even scale them in the same light. Anime Jogo is a demon. He still loses to a bunch of characters. He's still not top 15, but he's a demon. And any character who scales above anime Jogo is also naturally by proxy a demon. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, anime Toji's weird because, like, if you look at some of his feats at face value, they're wild. Like him blitzing Nue's lightning. Like remember Nue, I think like the sprinklers came on, so there's water, and we know water gets terribly matched up by electricity, and electricity travels faster through mediums. So Toji not just standing there, he stands there, the windows break, Nue's lightning comes out, and we see from Toji's perspective, he turns and looks at the lightning, and the lightning's moving like this. The electricity from Nue is moving like this. I forget, I saw somebody calc that. It is stupid how fast that makes the verse, if you take that calc. But because it's anime only, we don't really talk about it. So like, it does get crazy. Anime Toji just makes things worse. And yeah, what they're talking about for Reggie in particular, yeah, if you use anime Toji, you know those two big trucks that, no, even not even two big trucks, the two cars that Reggie launched that Megami and Megami was struggling to deal with? Toji would literally pick up those cars with his bare hands and throw them at Reggie and one-shot him. It's that bad. Let's see.
Toji kicked one of those things casually at him in Shibuya in the anime adaptation. And it's like, when we're looking at the scale of these characters, it's just really embarrassing. Toji's pulling up, he's blitzing him, and then he's just one-shotting him. No curse tools needed, no special treatment. Like, there is no version of Toji or any version of Reggie in which I feel like what you need to be talking about is any deeper than that. It is, simply put, the most basic, bare-bones way that this fight will go.
Wow. I mean, I can't say anything else. You pretty much summed it up perfectly.
Bro, defend Reggie, bro. Defend Reggie.
I'm not defending Reggie. I won't be the guy to defend Reggie's star. But yeah, I mean, so Reggie's getting beat. Even if Reggie...
I'll defend that Megami and Reggie's fight is underrated. That's the only defense I'll give, because I think it is a neat fight, and it's a good fight for those power levels, and I like how the techniques interact. That's it. Power-wise, dare I say Reggie's not top. Not maybe no, because I said Nanami's not top 25. I do think Reggie is stronger than Nanami. I know some people aren't gonna like that. Maybe. No, yeah, I wouldn't say. Yeah, Reggie's stronger than Nanami. So maybe he's top 25. Can I name 25 characters stronger than Reggie? I probably can if I think about it, but he's not worth it.
No curse tools involved. Even if Reggie comes back as a vengeful curse spirit, he's getting packed up again just with curse tools this time. There's really no issue with him.
Yeah.
Next, just talk about Higuruma. Higuruma is underrated in my opinion, at least. I mean, 2 weeks.
In my opinion, not because you know the weird thing about Higuruma, right? The crazy thing about Higuruma, his stats are trash, and the Shinjuku Showdown doesn't make it better. I'm more so in the camp that Higuruma's kind of overrated. Like, by the fan, I think that potential equal to Sasuke Gojo stuff, I think all that, it hyped Higuruma up too much for a character who's, I'm not going to say featless, but he's kind of booty. Once again, because his best physical feats, his only physical feat of tagging somebody ever, is against the Yuji with no cursed energy. No cursed energy. That's it. No cursed energy. No. You know how many characters would dog walk a Yuji with no cursed energy? Even, yes, a post-Shibuya Yuji with no cursed energy? Base Hikari would dog walk that Yuji. Base Yuta would manhandle that Yuji. Maki, Toji, Mario, so many characters in verse would dog walk the same Yuji that Higuruma was struggling with. And sure, he got stronger. His reinforcement got better over the month time skip, unquantifiably so. And he never lands a hit on Sukuna. Never. Actually, I think he makes one hit with the hammer. When Sukuna's clearly playing with him and actively wants Higuruma to use domain expansion. So there's nothing. No, I think Higuruma's stats are kind of trash. I think he is a curse technique merchant, 100%. And also, his domain doesn't work, so he loses. But let's see.
Became a grade 1 level sorcerer. He's got the standard domain with his technique, which is pretty much unseen in today's sorcerers, aside from just Hikari. This is a domain where Tengen hypes up, like back in the hand era, sorcerers used to have domains like this where the domain just forces you to obey the rules of the domain instead of having some crazy lethal sure hit attack. And like I said, the only people to have a domain like this currently are like Mio, the sumo wrestler, Hikari, and Higuruma himself. So he's got this great domain. This would be, if it happened on Toji, the second easiest death penalty that he's ever gotten, because Toji is just a horrible guy. But sadly to say, it just won't work. Nothing that Higuruma has that actually makes him special and strong will get over on Toji. He's completely immune to domain expansions.
Toji wouldn't even get caught in the domain to start. If he wanted to, he could just shatter it from outside, avoid all these problems altogether. But in the case that he does get caught, right, like you can give Higuruma basically every good scenario and it doesn't matter. Say for some reason Toji's heavenly restriction ain't working properly. He is able to be registered by the domain. He is given like the death penalty and confiscation. Oh no, he loses his curse tools. Oh no, Higuruma gets Executioner's Blade. It's just going to be a version of what we saw against Sukuna, where it's just going to be some guy that's like infinitely slower than his target, really trying to get off this one shot, whereas Toji is just going to be significantly faster.
Yep.
He has precog, and then he also is just in base really, really strong. Higuruma has RCT now, so I guess that's cool. But even the other ability that he picked up, being Domain Amplification, has no utility against someone like Toji. It doesn't matter. It isn't a factor in this case. Even if you give Higuruma all of the things that do make him strong, you do say that the domain works. You do say that he takes away Toji's arsenal. You do say that he does get an Executioner's Blade. I think that he is still facing, to downplay it, a lot of trouble from Toji. And that is in the best case scenario, a scenario in which, based on the power system, would never come to pass.
Yeah, I mean, Higuruma couldn't even land a hit on Yuji with the gavel. And then Yuji, no cursed energy, by the way, Yuji lands a hit on Higuruma's gut and he's like almost throwing up from it. You talk about like Yuji with cursed energies barely keeping up with Maki versus Sukuna. Like Sukuna's consistently calling him boring and trash and just pushing him out the way, never lands a hit on him. It's just like it.
And you know the crazy thing about this, right? It's heavily debated. There are a couple of like heated debates, especially in like this back section of JJK. Two of the big ones are how much stronger do the characters get? Does it change any of their matchups specifically? And two, did Yuji get stronger here? Well, actually, that's three. Then there's the other debate. Did Maki surpass Toji? I personally don't think so, because one, we have no idea of her training. Two, Sukuna doesn't know anything. And three, a statement released by Gege after the start of the Jujutsu Showdown mentions that Maki is still equal to Toji. I'm kind of in the camp that they can't get stronger. Either of them, they're both beyond human limits, and that's kind of it. I'm not sure. Until it's otherwise stated, they kind of can't get stronger. Maki doesn't surpass Toji. They're still both equals. But all that aside, in my opinion, liberated Yuji which is what I call this Yuji that is post Sukuna leaving him, but pre Shinjuku Showdown. Liberated Yuji already massively dwarfs his pre-liberated self with cursed energy, who massively dwarfs his no cursed energy self that Higuruma was struggling with, and with no concrete confirmation that anything other than their reinforcement and their defense got better from Sukuna. He mentions nothing about their striking power going up. I think they just get absolutely blitzed horrifically. I think Toji could literally grab Higuruma by the ankle and start beating Higuruma. Like straight up, pick him up and just boom, 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 but like something like that. It is that bad. The speed gap is that horrendous because Higuruma never got faster. Let's see.
There's no contest throwing Toji up against someone like Higuruma, and a similar thing follows with the next person, regardless of what you might generally think when you think about this matchup. Takaba did do well in his fight with Kenjaku. However, I think that at some point in the fight with Kenjaku sort of got lost in the sauce, if you will. He was figuring out Higuruma's technique, and then he never opens his domain expansion, and he stops doing.
I didn't even think of this. Someone brought up the fact to me. Hey, no, they didn't bring up the fact to me. They asked me genuinely because they know I'm a big Jaku jacker. I glaze Kenjaku all the time. He's literally one of my favorite characters in the series, even still. And they were like, "Hey, why didn't Kenny use his domain?" And like legit. It was like for everyone, y'all have seen the meme from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where like they were basically egoing like, it hurt my heart to put that tumor in her head, and I hit the what? But in Kenny's defense, I do get it somewhat. The way I rationalized it, even though that did give me like a multi-stage heart attack, the main reason Kenny probably didn't use domain is because he was still scared. Sure, Takuba's nice, Takuba's cool, Takuba's powerful and all that, but if he had used domain, beaten Takuba, closed domain, and Yuta fell out the sky, he was cooked. If Maki fell out the sky, he was cooked. If Yuji came out, like, if anybody fell out the sky with half decent stats, they were cooking a techniqueless Jaku. So he had to save domain for them, but it was too late. It was too late. So that's the only excuse for Kenny not using domain, but I do get what they mean. Like, he is lost in the sauce. That just triggered, like, my thought of, like, oh yeah, Kenny didn't use domain. Why did my glorious, amazing, wonderful big brain king not use domain? That's why. What's it?
The ways around it that he had originally found. So not only can someone like Toji kind of see through curse techniques with his curse resistance, like how Maki did.
That is true. That is also. Sorry, my fault. One, they did bring up domain, but like I kind of explained why he didn't use domain. But yeah, I do agree. Ultimately, but then again, actually, it's kind of a 50-50, right? Because Kenny realizes that while his tactics may work somewhat in the fight, he does mention, oh, okay, so yeah, I can kind of fight back if I do this. But then Takuma got his awakening, and then he started really Genjutsu looping Kenny. And then once he started Genjutsu looping Kenny too heavy, Kenny was like, okay, I kind of have to satisfy him. I have to play along. I have to agree with him, work with him. I have to do the bits. It's why he engages with the Nurse Kenny bit. It's why he engages with the comedians bit at the end. Like, he ends Takuma for all intents and purposes. That's what he ended up doing towards the end. He just didn't realize the after effects of that because he didn't know. He had no idea how the comedian was going to interact. He had no idea about it. So, in Kenny's defense, he played the game right. But unfortunately for Toji, he's got a little thing, a little kadoober, a little bang back called the Inverted Spear of Heaven, which causes the forced stoppage of all curse techniques. Now, the question with Takuma in particular is, how would it work? Would Kenny have to stab Takuma? In that case, it may be difficult, because who knows what the comedian would do to try and fight against that. But then again, it's the forced stoppage of all curse techniques. If you think it requires piercing, like the Inverted Spear of Heaven has to come in contact with the technique it's canceling, then it needs to pierce the person who's wielding the technique that it's canceling, then it's in danger. But if you're like me and think the Inverted Spear of Heaven just turns things off and ignores the one thing about hidden inventory that's weird, it's a little wackadoodle-doo, Toji blocking red and it not stopping when it came in contact with the blade, and you go by the anime's logic, then Toji does have to stab somebody. He has to stab the technique and then the person wielding the technique, which the comedian may not like. Because in the anime, it's shown that the blade can be interacting with the curse technique and not turn it off. But if you go with the manga's interpretation, which is admittedly a lot vaguer, but it seems to think the entire blade is coated with it, the blade itself has the forced stoppage of curse techniques, then simply interacting with Takaba at all, whether it be a graze or even the environment Toji would be in, being forced to interact with Takaba, then I think would shut it off, and then I think Toji gives Takaba back shots. Because Takaba has, no feats. If he doesn't have his curse technique, he is a regular dude. We don't even know if he fully understands curse energy reinforcement. That's how far he is. Well, let's see.
Not only can someone like Toji kind of see through curse techniques with his curse resistance, like how Maki did with Naoya in their first fight, if he does that with Takaba, he could just stab him with the Inverted Spear of Heaven, and then Takaba's whole shtick is just up. There's no way for him to revert that damage or make that not work because his curse technique is off. His curse technique.
And another weird thing that we just don't know because of how we saw the Inverted Spear interact, we don't know if one forcefully stops a curse technique, how long it takes to turn it back on. Because Toji stops, he stops the Infinity, he stops the Limitless, stabs Gojo a bunch, and Gojo admits when he resurrects a decent time later, I stopped caring, I stopped focusing on defending, I fully gave in to RCT. So he never even tries to turn the Limitless back on. And thusly, if it's a forced stop and it takes a second to come back, then Toji just all over Takaba before he can even think of reacting to the comedian, which he doesn't even know he has active. That's the whole thing about Takaba's technique. He's not in on the joke. He doesn't know how his abilities work. So he probably wouldn't even know how to turn the comedian back on. So yeah, he's good.
So powerful in the first place. And stat-wise, is Takaba even all that impressive? Nah. I don't think so. I think it's...
No. Stat-wise, Takaba ramps up his cursed energy in Tokyo Colony 1, drop kicks Hazanoki, and Hazanoki's chilling. Hazanoki's fine. Yeah. He's just Okay, I'll put it like this, right? Reggie's fight with Megami goes on for about as long as Takaba's interaction with Hazanoki. And you can say that, oh, Takaba's just not the type of character to go for the kill. Sure, but he's the same Takaba that'll be fighting against Toji. And if you're telling me Hazanoki can fight against him for a decent amount of time before realizing, oh shit, the dude I was fighting for is gone. All right, whatever. I'm not even interested in this anymore. There's no way that Toji, one of the more shrewd characters in the entire series, won't have downloaded that technique. And let's say he can't download it, right? Let's say he doesn't understand it. Maybe Toji is not into comedy. He doesn't understand. He's not comprehending. That's fine. He doesn't need to get it to know that inverted spear of heaven is a great answer for it. And one thing that I think...
And one thing with Toji, right? Actually, no, he doesn't. That's a lie. Never mind. I'm about to say Toji opens up with inverted spear. He doesn't. He really doesn't. So let me stop that.
He doesn't come up with Takaba, and I personally believe makes people not necessarily overrate him, because his curse technique in question, as the narrator says, has the potential to allow him to affect even Gojo, right? And that's impressive, that's cool, that's whatever. But one thing that's sort of a weakness for Takaba is just a character that goes for an instantly lethal attack. I think in every...
It's this panel. It's this panel right here. And it's why when I redo the Toji and Maki, whether... Because I may, in order to just make sure that's not the same video on my channel twice, I may just use Maki. Because only Maki still has all the keys to defeat a base Kashimo. And possibly Mythical Fan to Beast Amber, depending on how you scale him. I'll say it, depending on how you scale it. But this panel right here, in the redraws, shows Maki getting hit by Sukuna's lightning. And just as Sukuna presumed in the originals, she took no damage. She took no damage. And remember, this is far before Megami actually starts inhibiting Sukuna's curse technique output. So Nue's blasting. Full 15-finger Sukuna strength. And while it is a feat for Takaba, you literally see his legs get blown off. Or at least he's bursting with blood. That's not, that black stuff right there is not lightning. That's straight, he's dying. How he survived, the comedian probably kicked in. But that's it. He's cooked. But Maki, boom, takes it. Not only does she react to actually block the lightning, which is a feat in of itself, but on top of that, admittedly not too big of a feat because it's so far away, like it's on top of a roof to the ground. Admittedly cloud to ground lightning, but regardless, she blocks it and takes no damage. Her healing factor isn't even procced. That's how tanky she is in regards to lightning. So it may just flat out be a resistance thing, and that's why the Maki and Toji matchup is so funny. Because the Maki and Toji versus Kashimo, or Maki or Toji versus Kashimo matchup is so funny. Because his bolt, at least for base Kashimo, obviously you could use the electromagnetic waves for Mythical Fan to Beast Amber, and then that gets way more crazy because we have no feats of Maki and Toji resisting that. But at least for the lightning, the thing he built to, his big damage, may do literally nothing to them. They may just eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack on the side, which is crazy. But let's hop into the video itself.
Start off a fight. Say, for example, when Sukuna summons Nue and strikes down lightning on Maki and Takaba, the reason that Takaba survives is not because he's more durable or that he uses the comedian to avoid damage. He gets hit, and I think he loses like part of his limbs or whatever in the volume redraws. Yeah, he loses his limbs. Like, Nue's casual random electric attack just bullies and bodies him, right? The reason he survives is because it didn't hit him in a way that would instantly kill him. Versus Kenjaku, he uses a random assortment of curses, swarms them on Takaba, and Takaba, like, just splatters in blood. Once again, the reason he doesn't die is because the technique itself wasn't intended to instantly one-shot him. I mean, Kenjaku used, at least the way I perceive it, uses a similar level of, like, force on Takaba in that instance as he did on Choso in the Tengen interaction. Like, this is the lowest of the low curses, just amplified by his cursed energy. It's very, very weak, and Choso had a more durable reaction to it off rip than Takaba did. I think if you say, okay, fine, Toji's getting caught in the loop, for some reason he doesn't want to use inverted spear of heaven or whatever, he just pulls out soul split. He's like, all right, let's stop.
Language.
And he just blitzes and then just cuts his head off with bypass durability, if you were to say Takaba is durable enough to survive it anyway, and then you just instantly disconnect the thing that allows him to use his curse technique from the rest of his body. I think in an instance where you are fast enough and strong enough to overwhelm Takaba very quickly beyond his curse technique activation speed, you very easily have an answer. And even if you,
And that's the thing. It is vague. It's why I talk about, like, notably, when you hear people do top 5s, top 10s, top 15s, top 20s for JJK, which it's a battle manga, so naturally you're going to have a lot of those. Takuma's weird. He's weird. Because we don't know how he interacts. Because his only 2 fights are against Hazanoki, when it's mostly off screen, and Kenjaku, who very specifically interacts weirdly with the technique. That's it. So could Takuma literally be undefeatable? Like, if you threw Takuma against Sukuna, could Sukuna kill him? Who knows? Probably. Domain expansion. But still, who knows? Gojo, especially, who knows? Maybe Takuma's technique will override it. Who knows? Because it's capable of rivaling it, apparently. But at the same time, he's a victim. Because he has no feats outside of his curse technique. So if you're able to bypass that through whether it be domains or something else, in a 1v1, yeah, Takuma may just be farther. So that's the thing. He can either be the strongest in the verse, or he could be bottom 30. It depends. Let's see.
don't agree with that interpretation, like we said, Toji is literally equipped with anti-curse technique knife. It doesn't really get simpler than that.
Yeah, and just to add to it about Kenjaku and Choso, when Kenjaku first notices Takuma, he's just like, oh yeah, this guy's nothing. Then he tosses those curses at him. And I get, like, Takuma's curse technique is formidable. I think the only reason Kenjaku is not using his domain on Takuma, because domains just nullify curse techniques. It would take away whatever he's doing to avoid hits and whatever, right?
Correction! I think this is the correction. And then once again, this is why I ask y'all, if y'all, how far am I? What? I've been recording for 31 minutes. I'm only 10 minutes into the video. I need to stop yapping. But, question, I don't think domains actually nullify curse techniques. I think they bypass them. Like, the Limitless could still hypothetically be active, because we see Gojo still being hit by Malevolent Shrine when he uses red. It's like, that's him in a domain scenario. I think the main reason we have the misconception of it nullifies curse techniques is because it bypasses infinity. But it doesn't really bypass infinity, as in it goes straight through it. It bypasses it because the attacks immediately spawn on people. Like, there's no travel time. It's an instant hit. So that's how it bypasses techniques. But I think with Gojo being able to use Limitless while being hit by Malevolent Shrine shows that even the strongest domain in the series doesn't nullify curse techniques. It just bypasses the whole travel time. And that's where a question comes with Takuma. Is Takuma a domain victim? Maybe, if it insta-offs him, but at the same time, maybe his curse technique wouldn't allow it. It really depends. Let's see.
In order to just, immediately dismiss this guy, is because of the chance that Maki or Yuta could show up. People we know he's specifically looking out for, they could show up out of nowhere, like, kind of like what happened, and he's cooked. Like, he already got cooked when Yuta showed up out of nowhere with his curse technique, and I imagine if that was just down, he would have got cooked even harder. So I mean, yeah, it's really no contest. Takuma, he's really strong when he has the comedian. If he doesn't have the comedian, like he won against Toji, he's not that formidable of a fighter.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, that's pretty much it for Tokyo Colony #1. Everyone else in Tokyo Colony #1 is weaker than these guys, and seemingly by a pretty significant margin. So Toji obviously would just pack them up as well.
What about Hazanoki and Remy? How do they fare? It's like, all right, bro, well, come on.
Sorry, the music's fine.
We talked about the heavy hitters in this call. I promise you, anybody else that you're bringing up, they're getting cooked too.
Remy got tased. Like, come on. So, Tokyo Colony #2. There is a strong guy in this area. The first guy we're going to talk about is Charles, because Charles sucks. The only reason I even want to talk about or bring up
let me say this: the way Toji would do the way Toji would do Charles, who can see 3 hours into the future, is he would grab the G battle staff out of his hands and beat him to death. I don't even want to hear it. That's it. I'm not even gonna go for it. Once again, because I'm afraid of yapping way too long. He wipes Charles. I'll do this. I'll only talk when I think it matters. Let's see.
Charles is just because he fought against Hikari. And he happened to give Hikari a little bit of trouble until Hikari figured out, oh, well, he can see where I'm coming from. Let me just move from where he can see. And that's the easiest counter to a technique of all time.
move out of his line of sight. Because it's crazy. It was just like, oh, you see into the future, but you don't see into the future from like a third person perspective. You see from your POV. So yeah, you just, oh, I just move behind you and attack. I'm gonna be real. Okay, obvious thing is obvious. Toji just bullies him and obliterates before he even gets a hit landed on him. Toji doesn't seem like the kind of guy that is willing to let techniques show their full potential, because he just seems wary. I mean, even Geto, who he looks at as like, oh god, you're fodder, right? He's like, I'm not sure I want however many cursed spirits you have coming out, even though realistically speaking, if Geto had a cursed spirit strong enough to beat Toji, he would have brought it out to fight Toji. He's just being very cautious, and he doesn't want to do any extra work that he doesn't have to. So I don't think there's a scenario in which Charles is landing the initial blow required with G Ward's staff to even start up the technique. But how many times, like how many seconds into the future do you think Charles has to see before it starts to become even? Because I'm thinking like it's gotta be like 30 seconds to a minute.
30 to a minute? No, that's crazy.
He needs an ad break of difference, bro. I don't know.
That's the thing though. Like I said I wouldn't talk. Quick, I gotta speak quick. Think about the perception gap between base Hikari and Toji. Now think of the gap between Hikari and Charles. Quantify it. Think about it. Just think about it. Don't even. You can type it. Think about it. If Hikari was still able to fight Charles when Charles could see what, like 3-4 seconds in the future, while he was still holding back, base Hikari versus Toji. Come on now.
Because his
it has to be a significant amount of time.
His physical feats are garbage.
Because I didn't even mention, like, Hikari figures this way around Charles' curse technique easy. Like Toji does the same thing, cuts him with a soul split katana. That's, you know, if Charles lands the hits on him. This is base Hikari I'm talking about. This isn't even Hikari. This is Hikari who he hit Yuji 3 times and Yuji just got back up. Like, yeah. This isn't even Hikari where Yuta's like, oh, he's stronger than me, Cap, by the way. But this is base form Hikari doing this to Charles. Maybe it is 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe
this
it is
hands
a whole
in the pocket.
break.
This is hands in the pocket Hikari dodging his pre-technique attacks, by the way.
It's 5 hours.
He oh my god, bro. I'm rereading the fight and Charles sucks. He almost gets blitzed by base Hikari with the 1 second in the future. He's looking at Hikari's speed. He's like, oh my god, he's fast. And it's like, dude, base Hikari? Are you serious? There's no way. How are you getting perception blitz with a second of future sight by base Hikari? Then he gets 2 seconds in the future and he's like, oh my god. And he can't stop the domain expansion. Yeah, bro. Go ahead and take those 30 seconds into the future, man. And, yeah.
Which he isn't.
The funny thing is I think because Toji is so durable, there isn't a scenario in which, even if he's fast enough to react and, you know, start using attacks in advance,
y'all may think I'm absolutely ludicrous and crazy for this, but considering how little damage, I say little, relatively speaking, how little damage a nerfed Sukuna Dismantle did to Maki when it actually hit, like it broke her skin but didn't really tear her into her. Her healing factor was procced later and stuff like that. It took a black flash to remove her from the battle, not the dismantle. You can make a pretty solid argument that Charles couldn't break Toji or Maki's skin. Like, his attacks would literally bounce off. That's how durable they are relative to him and his AP. He's that garbage.
There's just a point in which Toji's just like, all right, I'll just get hit by whatever you're doing, grab onto you, and then just take your head off, because it's really not that deep. It's really not that serious. Crazy. Yeah, Toji absolutely obliterates. Charles has a technique that would be really good for anybody with any level of good physicals, because hands in the pocket Hikari dodging a majority of your attacks, holy, well, yeah, no.
Yeah, this technique is one that needed to be given to Yuta. Because what is Charles doing with this one? Now, on to people who are actually worth talking about. Kashimo. Okay, let's get one thing established. Kashimo's not using his curse technique. We're throwing Toji into the Culling games, right? In the Culling games, Kashimo is not using his curse technique unless he fights Sukuna. Now,
Yeah.
I think that it's a little bit unfair, but at the same time, that's just what he would do in character, right?
He'd rather die than use it in
It's true.
Or he's willing to kill him, or he thinks he is. He's just like, all right, bro, I'm not using my.
That's the hard thing, right? Like, especially as a guy who's trying to write Kashimo versus battles, because I do actually like the character, and I do want to film against a couple characters. The hardest thing to get him to do is to use his curse technique, because he literally wouldn't. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. The man made it to old age. That implies that throughout his entire life, he never used his curse technique. At least, unless, like, the old man in Kashimo we see had just used it and he was starting to break down and die, I thought he just coughed the blood because of old age. It implies he never used it. Ever. So, you mean to tell me he's going to use it against anyone but Sukuna? No! So it's always base Kashimo. Like, speaking about Mythical Phantom Beast Amber is super hypothetical. Like, every versus battle we ever do, that's not in the manga, is hypothetical, but we get super hypothetical if we ever have to bring out Mythical Phantom Beast Amber. It's just not a thing that happens. That's it.
So it's not. It wouldn't even come down to, oh, this guy's so strong, I have to use it. He will not. He just won't.
Yeah. He would literally rather blow up and expend all his cursed energy than use his cursed technique on someone else. So, actually, yeah, no, I take it back. It is fair. It is fair to say. So now, Kashimo, he's strong, but I think something that a lot of people overlook about Kashimo is that Hikari was holding back on him a lot in their fight. So it's a bit towards the end of the second round.
Now, wait a minute. 6. Holding back a lot. A lot. I don't know about all that. See, I can give it that towards the end, Hikari definitely did start to pick up the pace. And, like, he admits that, okay, I'm just going to go all out because I literally can't die. I'm immortal. I can go crazy. But, like, outside of some moments, which Kashimo pretty quickly adapts to, he notes that Hikari gets faster, but he never gets, like, overwhelmed or body bag too intensely. And once again, he never takes too much damage from Hikari. I wouldn't say he was holding back a lot. I would barely say he's holding back. I think he literally gets a cursed energy bonus towards the end of the round, and he gets stronger towards the end of rounds, and then that's it. I wouldn't say that, but we'll let it rock. We'll let it rock, because ultimately it doesn't matter. Because once again, the issue, if I can complain a little bit, just a little bit. Let me complain just a little bit. If I can complain one thing, scaling Hikari and Kashimo, unless you use the Yuta statements and the Gojo, it's so statement-based that it bothers me, but hey, I have to take it. If you ignore that statement, if you're one of the people who ignores that statement, ignores that line of scaling, says, Gojo doesn't know what he's talking about, Yuta doesn't know what he's talking about, Hikari is not relative to that boy at all. Hikari and Kashimo scale nowhere. It bothers me to this day. It's so hard to scale him anywhere. You could use, oh, well, he was the strongest in the Edo, but was he really? He never fought Ryu. By the time Ryu was notable enough to actually get on Kashimo's radar, he was dead or dying. So, hard to say he's really stronger than Ryu, even though I do think he would beat Ryu. I love my glorious, amazing, criminally ambitious king. I do think Kashimo would probably beat him, just based on how I interpret certain things. But even then, I could see an argument for Ryu. If you think Ryu's legit just that bulky, and you think Kashimo's lightning bolt is legit just straight power, then Ryu eats it. And then Kashimo can do no damage, especially in base. But, with that being the case, it's hard. It's real hard to scale these two. You have to go with lore. You have to go with lore and statements and implications by the narrative for both of these characters for them to scale anywhere, because they don't scale anywhere else. Because they either fight each other or do no damage to their respective opponents. I'm looking at you, Kashimo versus Sukuna, and I'm looking at you, Hikari versus Urume, and Hikari versus Kashimo, in fact. So it's rough. Let's see.
Where Hikari's like, you know what, I'm gonna start cutting loose. I'm gonna go hard on this guy. And the minute he does that, he just lands 3 punches on Kashimo. 1 to the face, 2 to the chest. Kashimo tries to come in for another attack. Hikari parries. Like, when Hikari starts going all out on Kashimo never lands another hit on Hikari. Not until he gets the return stroke of his lightning from his rod that's across the field, and he hits Hikari whenever the round ends. Now, it's
like 2 pages, though. It's like 2 pages, and Kashimo does, once again, he gets that back, and then they go on to the next stage of the battle. So, I don't know. I feel like if, once again, I go with the idea that I always bring up with Yuta, even though I get, but narrative. What reason does Hikari have to hold back against Kashimo if he could just one-shot him? Or drastically overpower him? Or knock him out? That's all he wanted. He wanted to knock Kashimo out and get his points. Beat him and get his points. Same thing I always ask, why would Yuta hold back against Ryunoura? Why? If he could just one-shot them, why didn't he? When he specifically just wants to one-shot people. Especially at that time. He's literally just randomly slaughtering people. Yuta I feel like this is so easily forgotten. Yuta planned to manually get the 200 points. All the points. I think it was like 400 that they needed. He manually planned to go out there and slaughter that many people. That was in the plan. Why wouldn't he do it? Especially when timeline-wise, unless you think the Sendai showdown took multiple hours, I'm pretty sure I went over this in another video. Timeline-wise, the rule that Yuji adds to the Culling games does not get added in time for Yuta to be holding back on Ryunoura. At best, and the best case scenario is that after he barely wins the everything and Ryu passes out, then before Yu's about to stab both of them in the head or choke both of them out in order to get their points, then the rule gets added, because we don't get to see it added in the middle of the fight, and we know it's not added by the time the fight starts. So yeah, but let's see.
Important to bring something like that up, because Kashimo's whole plan in the fight, where he's throwing off these big attacks and big techniques with his lightning bolt. So Kari didn't know that Kashimo can't just do that. Like, there's a little bit of a charge before he can throw something like that off. Someone like Toji, who in character, like Ronin mentioned earlier, he doesn't like to go through a lot of trouble to do things. I mean, like, look at hidden inventory. He's wearing Gojo down the entire time before he fights him, because he doesn't even know if he can beat him or not. And then whenever he fights Geto, obviously, he didn't want to get rid of he didn't want to kill him because he didn't want his curses to come out. And then whenever he's fighting Gojo the second time, he even thinks to himself in his head, he's like, why did I take this fight again? Like, it's more in character for me to have just run away, because I'm not getting paid for this. He like took the fight for pride or whatever. So it's pretty consistent. Toji doesn't like trouble. So whenever Toji gets the idea that he can just take Kashimo out, that's more than likely what's going to happen. Now, if you want to talk about durability...
Oh, okay, they're about to talk about that. I was about to go into it too. The one thing I'll quickly say for Kashimo, once again, you take that Yuta statement, you take that Gojo statement, relativity implied, by Jackpot Akari and Yuta, saying similar AP, similar bulk, all that, bada bing, bada boom. The idea that Gojo specifically told Hikari and Yuta they were the ones who were going to step in case things were going south, and Gojo became weaker than them two specifically. Then you could say that Hikari's way too durable for Maki or Toji to damage with conventional means. Like, they aren't going to punch Kashimo to death, and they aren't going to convert his way of having Kashimo to death. He's way too bulky for that, if you take the Yuta statement at face value, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Kashimo being extremely bulky. However, what I will immediately say, SSK. Soulful Katana, cooked. Immediately. Dur doesn't matter if I Dur neg you, and that's what Toji and Maki can do. Thusly, Kashimo's durability doesn't really matter. But let's see.
How hard Kashimo hits versus how much Toji can take. Kashimo's lightning bolts and Nue's lightning bolts. So that's
there it is. I knew they were going to talk about it.
15 Finger Sukuna's Nue and Kashimo. I think 15 Finger Sukuna's Nue is much stronger than Kashimo. I think because of the way larger lightning blast, it makes sense that Nue is much stronger, especially given the fact that it's Sukuna and it has no bearing on the nerfed output, because it's Nue's attack and not Sukuna directly doing the attack, like how Megami was lowering the output of his slashes. I think since Maki's able to take that, Maki equal to Toji, Toji's going to be able to take any of Kashima's lightning bolts that he throws at him.
That's the thing. That's the hard thing about that matchup, and something that I didn't even consider at the time, because I made the Toji versus Kashimo video, and I confidently, well before Kashimo's curse I confidently gave Kashimo the dub. But looking back on it, and especially with the redraws of 215, seeing how Maki, the equivalent of Toji, interacts with lightning, I'm kind of sitting here like, I'm not sure I can really hand you that anymore, big dog, because you may just be cooked. You may just be cooked, Kashimo, because that's Kashimo's strongest attack. And just like I say, Maki and Toji are not, and I repeat, are not just punching Kashimo to death. Kashimo is not punching Toji and Maki to death. It's simply impossible. The physicals are not physicaling. He's not doing that much damage. So, yeah. Kashimo runs into a scenario where he runs into the two people in the entire verse who eat lightning just as well as he does. if not better, considering Maki actually takes no damage from noise lightning. So yeah, that may be a cook the room scenario. But let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's also tough because even if you were to say the size scaling doesn't really matter, your next best argument would be to try to scale how strong the lightning bolts are shown to be relative to Toji and Maki's durability. In which case, I'm sorry for the 5 Hikari fans who've been upset here, but even Jackpot Hikari doesn't really have crazy durability feats. He kind of just takes some minor damage from Kashimo and his regular punches, and also just Kashimo grabbing doors and just swinging them and hitting him in the face. So the lightning bolts tearing through his body at every occurrence is not necessarily the greatest feat in the world. It's not to say that it's weak or anything.
That's the thing. Once again, it's the nightmare of scaling these two particularly to each other. If you give statement, if you give value to that Yuta statement, to the external statement that was released at around the time of Hikari's introduction, and the Shinjuku Showdown stuff where Hikari and Yuta are compared again in terms of the same league, if you give it that, if you get on your knees and slap Hikari off with that, then that's insanely impressive that Kashimo was able to damage that, because Jackpot Hikari and Yuta should be relative. But without that, if you're like 99.9% of the community and discard that, it doesn't matter. Hikari's fodder, because he has no durability. He has no dura feats. No dura feats that make it comparable. So, yeah, it's a rough spot. If he had fought Sukuna, and we saw how Dismantle's weakened or not interact with him, then maybe we could tell a different story. But unfortunately, someone couldn't beat the Ice Merchant. Unfortunate. What a shame. But let me move this computer because he keeps screaming.
It's not to say that it wouldn't break through a lot of characters, but it is kind of hard to determine how strong that lightning bolt is, especially when the person we are comparing it to or looking at it to see how much damage it does. Toji in the anime takes, Megumi Nua's lightning bolt or whatever. He's fine. He doesn't really seem to have issue with it. And if you want to use anime scaling, he might actually just be able to react to it just based on how he turns his head and just looks at it or whatever. And in Maki's case, you see the massive Nue lightning bolt, and that's fine, that's whatever, that doesn't seem to bother him. The one argument I could see in Kashimo's favor, if you're trying to say that, is that Sukuna, even with how injured he was, deemed that last lightning bolt attack strong enough to transform for. Like, he was like, oh, I do not want to take this head on and without my new form. But even if you say that, yeah, that would have just like obliterated Sukuna if he took it head on. The problem is that Kashimo's already using Mythic Beast Amber at that
much
point.
Stronger, yeah.
And then that Kashimo is leagues above the one that fights in base and the one that would be fighting Toji and Maki. So Kashimo kind of also fights on turf that they like to fight on. He uses his staff. He mixes it in with some electricity or whatever. But like we said, it takes like 4 to 6 punches or interactions to land that. And I'm also just going to be real. Kashimo just happened to fight somebody that did not have very great attack potency. Like Six said, towards the end of the fight, he lands like a ton of punches on him or whatever. But Kashimo does not leave that fight with more damage than, I don't know, a bloody nose, blood coming from his mouth, and maybe some peeled skin from the heat of the water that he heated up by himself. Hikari, in terms of like actual damage, doesn't do that much. And if for some asinine reason you were going to say Hikari punches just as hard as Toji and Maki, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Here's the thing. It's not ridiculous if you take the Yuta statement. It's not. I mean, it really depends, right? Who do you think swings a sword harder? Yuta or Maki and Toji? Personally, I would say Maki and Toji. Because, like, they're beyond human capability. Only inferior to Gojo and Sukuna in terms of physical stats. So in my opinion, ultimately, Maki and Toji would hit harder and swing a sword harder than Yuta and Hikari. But I know Yuta fans wouldn't like it if I said that. And I know they're going to argue right now if they've made it 54 minutes in this darn video. But like, my opinion, if you give that statement and you go with the common interpretation, Yuta's the strongest, and Hikari's relative to Yuta the strongest, then Hikari must punch as hard as Yuta, and Yuta must punch harder than Maki and Toji. Even if I think that's a little bit off. Don't get me wrong, and hear me, Yuta fans, I'm not saying that Maki and Toji hit harder than Rika. I'm not saying that. I don't think Maki and Toji hit harder than Ryu. or Rika. The two R's, the double R, the R and R's, I don't think they hit harder than them with basic regular punches. I think they hit harder than Yuta, and I think they hit harder than Akari. But regardless, even if you give them that, what are the chances of Kashimo actually landing a hit? They have precog and better speed scaling than base Kashimo does. Maki and Toji are out here precog and dismantles. Blues. Not red. Not red. But still, they were out here precogging some crazy stuff. I don't see Kashimo being able to punch as fast as Sukuna's slashes. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Babu. I just don't see it. I think they are gonna cook him just because of how good their scaling is. When you react to arguably a world slash that was hidden from you, or a strong full chant dismantle that was hidden from you, I don't see base Kashimo hitting as fast or swinging as fast. So Maki and Toji may legit be untouchable by them, by Kashimo, which is great. Especially, it's such a hard flip up for me. If it goes to show you how much I've changed my views on the series, specifically in regards to those two, it's that. It's that. Because can you argue, and this is the thing, for my Kashimo fans out there, I know somebody else still do exist, and hey, I'm a Kashimo fan myself, can you argue Kashimo punches faster than Sukuna slashes? That his combat speed is higher than Sukuna's dismantles? I personally can't. Nothing for base Kashimo. Maybe Mythic Phantom Beast Amber. Maybe. His bolts. Probably. Because they're described as a sure hit without a domain. Absolutely. But in terms of his punches and his kicks, the things he needs to land on Maki and Toji in order to even get the bolt win con, I don't know. I kind of don't see the vision. But let's see.
But even if you were to say that, and you were to say that, oh, Kashimo could really just weather the storm, durability negating sword incoming. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, if they're even relative, right? Even if you upscale Kashimo off of whatever feats that don't exist, you say that, oh, they're really close. It's just, it doesn't take much. It takes one wrong move. It takes one wild slash that removes an arm, that removes a leg,
and that's the big thing about this matchup in particular. Sorry, I keep pausing and yapping, but hey, welcome back on the pencil. I'll pause and yap. But the big thing about this matchup is how much one can take and how much one can give out. It's basic fighting game logic. If I have comparable HP, say we're running by fighters logic, all characters have the same amount of HP. They all have, I think, like it's 10,000 HP in fighters. Everyone has 10,000 HP. If my attacks do more damage, do more lethal damage faster than yours, and whatever attacks you do land on me do chip damage, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win in the long run? I think I have an idea, but
removes his head. I mean, Toji has the answer to characters like Kashima that want to get up close. And you'll see this when we talk about Sendai characters too, but like, there is a certain way of fighting that is just not conducive to going up against a heavenly restriction like Toji or Maki, especially when they're wielding anti-durability. So
that's the thing, right? And I talk about this all the time. And this is the one thing I will readily hand this over to any Yuta Yucker, to any Hikari Hopper, to any Jaku Jacker, to anybody. I will give you this. In terms of their feats, you have to do what I always say it's hard to do with Hikari. You have to go with just narratively and their statements and implications of being superhuman and beyond human capability. Without SSK, their damaging feats are kind of booty. Sure, they damage Teen Ghetto and Teen Gojo. Both of their durabilities kind of scale nowhere without SSK. But the thing is, unless you're removing SSK, which very few characters can do, the King of Curses couldn't rip SSK out of Maki's hand. That doesn't matter that their feats without SSK don't really seem all too impressive. They have SSK, and they will not be letting go of SSK. So it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, isn't it? With anything that comes to durability, your bulkiest character in the verse, and they'll probably talk about this when we get to Ryu. The bulkiest character in the verse, like Ryu Ishigori, could sit there and face take Maki and Toji's regular punches and kicks all day. Does not matter. He literally gets one tapped. One swing of the sword, and that's it. He's cooked. But that's it.
It's just, it's really not good for him. It's really not good for him. Maybe you could have a different discussion if he was using his curse technique, but like we said time and time again, there is not a scenario, unless Toji changed his legal name to Sukuna and pulled the wool over Kashima's eyes because he doesn't know what Sukuna looks like, it's not happening. Kashima would rather die than use his curse technique, and in this instance, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, so That's all I had to say. I mean, Kashimo, I just think he's getting cooked. Like Ronin said, I mean, if he had his curse technique, yeah, you could have a different discussion. Maybe he did actually force Sukuna into his high era form, but I don't think so. I think he's getting cooked.
I'll talk more in depth in its own video. Mythical Phantom Beast Amber is weird. He's either number 3 or he's not top 10. If you here's how it goes for Mythical Phantom Beast Amber. If you take Kashimo's statements of being the strongest of his era, Kenjaku feared him. Ultimately, you take the Hikari statements, Hikari's relative to Yuta, and you go with the fact that base Kashimo is already relative to a jackpot Hikari, and then has time to train over the time skip and get stronger and better, even though how much that matters, we don't know. And then we know, at least according to Gojo, curse technique is 8% of your potential. And then you give base Kashimo a 5 times multiplier. Right? If you just assume 20% of your potential versus 100% of your potential, you give him a 5 times multiplier, so he's at 100% potential, and you go with the idea that he has the fastest attacks in the verse because he has light speed attacks because of electromagnetic waves, then yeah, he's easily number 3. But if you don't believe that he gets a 5 times multiplier, if you don't believe he's in some crazy beyond demonic speed tier with his regular attacks, and you still believe his regular attacks that do have those high tier speeds like the think like the electromagnetic waves, then he's kind of just the same character. Once again, we don't have a confirmed multiplier. We don't know how much faster he gets. He barely tags Sukuna. He reacts to some of True Form Sukuna, but a lot of characters end up reacting to True Form Sukuna. Of course, as True Form Sukuna gets nerfed, but it depends on what you mean by nerfed. If you think the only thing that fell was Sukuna's output, his physicals and reinforcement should never fallen. So any character who does the same thing that Kashimo does and reacts to Sukuna, whoops. So that's the thing. It's super duper hard to talk about. Mythical Phantom Beast Amber, he's number 3 or he's not top 10. It's those two in between. He either gets domain diffed or he diffs everybody before he gets domained. Let's see.
Druve.
We don't talk about Druve.
Druve.
Toji gives Druve's back shots.
Druve.
He just straight.
He's allegedly strong. Because Druve
another curse technique retro.
All of Japan one time, but then Yuta just cuts him in half. Like, how strong was Druve really? Like, if Yuta can cut him in half with a non-durability negating and with the largest cursed energy amount in the verse aside from Sukuna, can Toji not just walk over there and cut him in half?
Listen, bro, Druve conquered Japan when his competition was like dinosaurs or something. Bro was not moving in any. There were no other strong sorcerers.
I'm gonna try to limit my app.
I'm gonna say something maybe slightly crazy, right? Druve gets by on his curse technique being like particularly useful against someone like Kurushi, right? But I would go so far as to say, based on what we saw, Kurushi gave base Yuta more trouble than Druve did. Now, maybe you could say that base Rika was helping, but I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't see Rika in the frame where he cut through Druve at all. And he cut through Druve like you cutting through butter. It wasn't this hard-fought battle that he just got finished doing. He walks into the Culling games, and it has to be quick enough to where Uro and Ishigori didn't notice Yuta before. He comes in, he cuts them down, the Shikigami disappear, and Uro and Ishigori are like, what the hell? What happened? Whereas when Yuta starts fighting Kurushi, they're commenting on it the whole way through because the fight is lasting long enough to actually have commentary. Yuta finished Druve off so fast that his immense cursed energy didn't even really register with them before. Yeah, Druve's getting cooked. I don't care what a Shikigami do, bruh. It doesn't matter because one, they constitute their own domain. That might not even work on Toji. If we're just calling a spade, like it just might not work. If it works in the way other domains do, it might not work. Let's say it does. I promise you, if Yuta was able to handle it without much damage, so is Toji. He's walking through, he's cutting him up, and he's just moving along. Kurushi time. It's not close.
But
it's
see,
not
the thing
close to the
is,
slightest.
Like, even if you don't think Yuta and Toji are similar in physicals, which, come on now. But even if you don't, Yuta handled it without much difficulty, without being amped up. Like he said, they don't notice his huge cursed energy pool until a little bit later on. So, what makes you think that Druve would do anything significant to Toji? Nothing. I'm ranting like there's Druve fans.
No, there are no Druve
No
shooters.
Druve fans.
We are really like going to bat for, Jesus. Yeah, Druve gets cooked. Sorry, all the fans of Druve are bad.
All right, yeah. So, Kurushi, okay. Kurushi, his festering life sword, that's actually a pretty good curse tool. The fact that it seemingly, I don't want to say it bypasses durability, but it's strong enough that it could barrel curses even into Yuta. I think that's pretty impressive. If that happens to Toji, I don't know if Heavenly Restriction Healing is getting past that.
Okay, put it like this, right? Maybe if you're not convinced, Yuta also is the guy that before this got hit with thin ice missile or whatever, and he kind of just like, okay, whatever. He also blocks Granite Blast with his hand, I think multiple times in Sendai Colony. Yep. But this, without any resistance, he gets caught and boom. They've just embedded themselves in his shoulder, and then he just hits hit with the combo. It actually, if Yuta did not have RCT, it would have gotten scary for him, because that is not the kind of ability you can really heal from. Ishigori's looking at him like, yeah, it's over. Uro's like, yeah, it's over. And Uro, I think, probably has RCT. I think they hypothesize that she does. Even she looks at it as like, yeah, no, there are insects in your stomach. Yeah, you're cooked.
It's a little bit like if Uro actually has RCT, because he was like, well, if she does have it.
Wait! I was listening the whole time. Let's do it for a little bit. Yeah, Druve, we're not talking about Druve. Druve gets washed. The domain thing, like they mentioned, may not work. And also, it's not doing damage. And also, Druve gets blitzed. For Kuro. Cool story, bro. Cool blade, bro. Who you hitting with it? Who you hitting with it? Not Maki. Not Toji. You ain't hitting them. I'm sorry. If these characters, unless you think, and once again, this is a question of question. Unless you think, if you can sit here, formulate the argument. All the Kuro fans, I'm a Kuro fan, low key. I'm a guy who thinks Kuro has better stats than Mahi. So I'm a guy who thinks Kuro could manhandle Hanami because you don't know their domain. I'm the kind of guy who thinks Kuro gets washed by Jogo. All right, because Jogo's not here. All right, he's a horde matchup for Kuro, especially anime Jogo would. He would literally cook. He would literally cook Kuro. But that aside, I want someone to make the serious, solid argument in the comments that Kuro's swing speed at all rivals Sukuna's dismantle speed. And I want y'all to argue. If anyone dares. I want anyone who's an hour. Jeez, I yap way too long. But I want anyone to sit down and have a genuine yap session in the comments over Kuro somehow having faster combat speed than Sukuna's dismantles, then Curse Naoya, then do I just gotta list them? Curse Naoya, Sukuna's dismantle, Sukuna's own casual punching speed, Megata's own casual punching speed, like anything. Teen Gojo's book. Make the argument. If you can prove it, you can prove it. But like all this talk about life festering play, it don't matter. It's not hitting him, and he's one shot. He's an SSK victim. Based on how Yuta was doing him, he may be a raw hands, normal katana victim. I could probably... Why did I put that upside down? I could probably hand Maki and Toji this random slim blade katana. I could just hand it to him and be like, hey, yo, could you take care of Kuro for me real quick? And then take care of Kuro for me real quick. Two exterminators. They are washing Kuro. What? Kuro's getting the most glorious and yet devious backshots to this side of the Mississippi, bro. There's no way on this good green earth Kuro's even in the discussion. I'll admit, if Maki and Toji stand there and get hit, then yeah, they're getting their guts torn open. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that the Life Festering Blade is super duper strong and super duper underrated if it hits you. Because unless you, like, the only argument you could make to somehow, like, debunk the Life Festering Blade being somehow And I say somehow. Hear me when I say, I'm saying somehow stronger than Ryu, who never breaches Yuta's durability with just regular punches. He knocks him around, though. Uro's Thin Icebreakers, which is literally during next space manipulation. The only way you debunk the Life Estering Blade is you say, oh no, Yuta got blinded, and then he turned off his Curse Energy Reinforcement, or something. Because, yeah, the fact that the Life Estering Blade tears into Yuta, who's, no matter how you feel about him, he's at bare minimum the 5th bulkiest character in the verse, only behind Ryu, probably awakened domain amped Yuji, Sukuna, Gojo, and that's it. It looks like the 4 characters. Even as a Maki Togi meat muncher, which I could. I mean, you could make some devious arguments if you really want. Rika as well. Rika's part of Yuta, so it's hard to argue that. But this is the thing. It's real difficult to argue that the Life Estering Blade wouldn't do Maki Togi the same way if it hit. Ain't hitting, though. Bless it.
Healing an arm is a hell of a feat. So we don't really know. Because, I mean, right after that, she just gets dismissed. So we don't really know. But
For sure.
Like,
Regardless, yeah.
Kuroshi forces Yuta to use RCT in the first place, which he didn't want to do. And then, aside from that, he did it when Yuta, like, clashed swords with him. So the Festering Life Sword, it doesn't even have to land a hit on you in order to do that. Now, if he clashes swords with Toji, obviously the Soul Split Katana is going to cut it in half like butter. But, yeah, it doesn't even need to land a hit on you in order to burrow the bugs into you. So, yeah, I'm imagining Toji should just, like, go through. Because if he sends out the giant swarms of cockroaches, Toji's going to have to just avoid. He doesn't have any gigantic cursed energy waves like Yuta.
He could look like the funny way, because Kuro he's weird because of the mass of cockroaches, but Toji could literally just walk over them. And I'm not talking like walk on the he could literally leap into the air and walk over them. It's easily forgotten because Maki and Toji rarely do it for some reason. Well, not for some reason. They're close range fighters, so it makes sense why they don't do it too often. But they can just airwalk. And sure, the cockroaches can chase them, but you're going to tell me them cockroaches are faster than Maki and Toji? Tell them they're faster than Curse Naoya? That's my question at all times. Okay, you think your character can hit Maki and Toji in the JJK universe, or one of their attacks can? Prove it's faster than a full Chantus Mantle. Prove it's faster than a World Slash. Prove it's faster than Curse Naoya moving at top speed. Oh, you can't do that? It's not hitting Maki and Toji. That's how it be. But let's see.
He's just gonna have to avoid, and then as soon as he sees, oh, this is the thing that's causing it, he's gonna have to just go for Kuroshi and just try to cut him down as fast as possible.
The big thing too, though, is that the only reason Yuta gets put in that position is because when he slices, I think Kuroshi's earthen insects or whatever, they blow up in his face, and obviously he's less visibility, his reaction times are slower, he's in a situation that he wouldn't normally be in, blah blah blah. That just doesn't matter for Toji. It's just like, oh, I can't see, whatever will I do, I'll just use my precog or whatever. So I mean, he might not even get in a position like that to where, okay, let's say that stuff does blow up in his face, literally, he can't see, Kuroshi's still not getting the jump on him, Toji's about to start, listen bro, he's about to start tap dancing in the air in order to avoid Kuroshi's insects or whatever, because that's another big thing that doesn't really get brought up, I think mainly because Toji doesn't use it all that much in his fights, but the maneuverability that he has is kind of ridiculous. He just doesn't have to deal with the insects in general. Unlike Yuta, who was pretty bent on keeping the civilians safe, Toji does not care. Let's be real. Oh no, everybody's gonna be in danger. Yeah, Toji's jumping over that, running to Kuroshi, cooking him. It's not even. It might just be over from that first slash that Yuta gets, because Yuta pretty much blitzes him a couple of times to where he's like, he cuts him up, he slams him under the bridge, and then goes and stabs him or whatever. And in those instances, whereas Yuta is attacking with things that are healable, it might not be the case with Toji and Soul Split. And if it
is not the case. I'm trying to think. They recorded this in April. Yeah, that should be well after the Maki and Toji fight. I think that they even talk about Maki. I think they talked about Maki and Toji scaling to Sukuna at least a little bit. But yeah. No. SSK is not healable by Kuro. It's not healable by most characters. I think the only characters who can heal SSK are like Yuki, because she has soul perception, apparently. Why wasn't Yuki doing soul damage? I don't know. It's probably Kenny, Yuki, Sukuna, Yuji, and Maki and Toji. They can heal it. And maybe Shoko too. But let's see.
Is, like I said, he's not... I just don't see a future in which Toji is going to be that lackadaisical. Yuta's specifically attempting to hold back. He's specifically attempting to, not show his true cards, which might be not necessarily clouding his judgment, but just affecting how he fights in general, right? Yuta has his own one-shot ability, and when that is on the table, when Kurushi shows back up, there is no hesitation in handling it. It's in Toji's case, even if you look at him as just a Yuta, but with a blade that one-shots Kurushi, it's just a simple matter, as far as I'm concerned, at least.
Yeah. So, again, going real hard like this Kurushi.
Okay, I'm a Kuro fan. I'll say it. If no one else, I will. I'll be brave enough. I'm a Kuro fan. I think Kuro's top 15. That's a lie. I think Kuro's top 25. Top 20. Top 25. I'll say 25 safely because I'm trying to think of 20 characters stronger than Kuro, and I probably can, but top 25. He's stronger than a lot of the backtrack of this. He has better stats than Mahito. I'm gonna say it. He has better stats than Mahito. You heard it here first, folks. So wherever you scale Mahito stat-wise, Kuro's higher. Get Mahito above Yuta. Get Mahito tagging and doing damage to Yuta. Oh, wait, you can't. Kuro better, bro. Kuro better.
Yes. But moving on to the people who actually, people care about. Ryu and Uro.
King. Ryu.
Now, a lot of people, because I'm so glad you brought it up earlier.
The air hopping, yeah.
Up here, but a lot of people are like, Toji can't get to Uro to turn the curse technique off or whatever. Toji can literally airwalk. Like
the crazy thing, I'll admit, the one thing I never got, because I remember when Sendai first came out, there was a bunch of Uro discussions. Uro versus like the back half of the verse, and a lot of people brought up the fact in like discussions like, oh well, she can fly away, and I always looked at them and I was like, okay, and what? Because she doesn't have any long range attack. She's a redirector and a close ranger. Like, sky manipulation is not the limitless, y'all. She does not have blue. She has no range. Her range is literally she has to touch you. Sky manipulation is good for redirecting projectiles that your opponent throws at you. So if your opponent doesn't have projectiles, they aren't going to attack you. And close range, where if you're relative to Uro, she now can't do it. So, like, I don't know. I never, like, don't get me wrong. I'm a Earl hype beast. I'm also with her easily in top 20. Maybe not top 15. Maybe top 15. I have to think about it, but I don't think top 15. Bro, no. No, not top 15. But still, I'm a Earl hype beast too, but I never got, she can fly away as if that's like a point of the discussion. She has no range. The argument you can make for Gojo flying up in the sky and just shooting reds and blues down, that's an argument. For anyone who doesn't have domain amp, they're cooked. Anyone who doesn't have domain amp and doesn't fly, they're cooked because they're going to be getting hit with red and blue over and over and over again. Heaven forbid he just flies 200 or 400 meters in the air, fires down a red and a blue, and does an unlimited hollow. You're extra cooked then. That's a win con for Gojo. But for Uro, she doesn't have any range. She doesn't. No range. So, flying away for Uro, never a valid strategy unless her opponent is a Ryu who's just going to fire blindly at her, which most characters wouldn't do. Even Ryu wouldn't typically do. The whole reason he was hesitant and there was a deadlock in Sendai is because Uro knew that was a win con against Ryu because Ryu also needs to get up close and his projectiles can be redirected. So,
he can air step. Like he can use the air as a foothold to get up to Uro and do whatever he needs to do. Now, Uro is specifically strong, and she's specifically very durable, and a lot of people underrate her on it.
And she is. I always bring up the fact that Yuta and Rika double team her, and she lives. Lives and keeps fighting, by the way. She doesn't just fall. She didn't, like, live as in, she just barely survived it. No. She gets wombo comboed by fully manifested Rika and Yuta Okotsu, who, at bare minimum, even if you don't agree with me in the idea that Yuta was still on the he had NBA Youngboy playing in his earbuds, or he was listening to YNW Melly in his earbuds and had murder on the mind. Even if you don't think he was on that kind of mentality, he was trying to beat Ryu and Uro. So the fact that Uro takes a two-sided double team wombo combo from a gauntlet wearing Yuta and fully manifested Rika and just keeps fighting like it's no big deal, insanely durable. Guess what though? She's fighting Maki and Toji, or in this case specifically Toji, who gives her amazing, crazy Duraneg backshots. And SSK go crazy. The inverted spear in the SSK. Toji got two hands, y'all. Toji got two hands. Oh, well, if he's using inverted spear, then he won't be able to damage her because he doesn't have the AP to prove that. He can hold SSK in one hand as he's touching her with inverted spear, turning over her technique. Boom! She's in half. I'm sorry, Earl. You cannot be Toji. What's it?
And I really hate it. Uro got hit with curse speech, and then Yuta and Rika together barraged her with punches from both sides. And she took it. Keep in mind, we don't know if she has RCT. I don't think she does. She took that and then immediately after broke the curse tool that Yuta was using on her with an icebreaker. Uro is actually extremely durable. Now, that's obviously because Toji's hits, they're going to be very physically powerful just because nature of the heavenly restriction. That's going to, I think anyway, put Toji in a position where the soul split katana is virtually necessary for dealing with Uro, especially if Ryu starts to jump in too, because Ryu is probably even more durable than Uro is. Like, Ryu's got all this, he's got this explosive first energy, the highest output ever. So I don't.
He is. Ryu is arguably it really depends though. He's arguably the bulkiest character in the verse. Right? Like it's Sukuna and Gojo, right? They have to have number one durability, especially Sukuna. But like, I think it has to be Sukuna, right? Because we don't know how Ryu would interact with Hollow Purple. But if it is just like a bulk thing, if Hollow Purple is just a bulk thing, and Sukuna looking at Yuta, and domain amped Yuta, by the way, who wouldn't be holding back Histora, and a pre-awakened Yuji, admittedly, and is like, no, Ryu's more durable. Then like he at bare minimum he's third bulkiest. At Ryu's best interpretation, he's the bulkiest. He's him. I bring it up all the time. Ryu takes damage from 4 things in the entire verse. 2 of them are Duraneg. It's Thin Icebreaker, which is spatial manipulation, which bypasses durability, and Cleave. Those are what do real good damage to him when they're used on him by other sorcerers. And those other sorcerers are Yuta Okotsu and Ryomen Sukuna, both with Duraneg attacks. Then it's fully manifested Rika, aka arguably the strongest curse. No, not even arguably. The strongest curse in the series. Who he also does really, really good damage back to. And his own attacks. Like, he punches himself in the mouth and it hurts. Oh, is he weak because of that? No, he's strong. So yeah, Ryu, he's him. Unfortunately, unlike Uro, he's a clear SSK victim and he's never touching Toji. Just like he's never touching Maki. Once again, you'd have to prove Ryu punches faster than Cursed Naoya, or faster than the Full Shan Dismantle, or Granite Blast is faster than either of those things, and you cannot. You can't. If Yuta can react to it, Maki and Toji can react to it. That's the baseline I always have. If Yuta can react to it, Maki and Toji can react to it, and they can react to it better. But let's see.
I think it's too far-fetched to say, yeah, he is more durable than Uro. So like, this puts Toji in a position where the Soul Split Katana, rather than being like, oh, you know, if he wants to, he can. This puts him in a position where the Soul Split Katana is needed to deal with these opponents virtually, or at least get them dealt with in an efficient amount of time. So
yeah, otherwise he's just going to be punching him over.
And a big thing, right? Once Toji realizes this, he's going straight to SSK. Like, realize when he got eaten by the Rainbow Dragon, when the Rainbow Dragon was up inside him, or he was up inside the Rainbow Dragon, he didn't try, at least as far as we know, Geto had like 2 seconds of safety before Toji immediately pulled out SSK, because, oh, this thing's slightly more durable than I like to deal with. Okay, he immediately pulls out the soul-splitting katana and just cleaves right through it. That's it. So the moment he hits Ryu, say he hits Ryu, especially if like he hits Ryu or Earl and his katana breaks because they're that durable, he's gonna be like, oh, and he's immediately gonna pull out SSK and they both die. Earl may be slightly more difficult, but even then, it's hard. At least in my opinion, it'd be hard to argue Earl could react to SSK before she's cut in half. Is that me? That maybe me glazing Monkey Toji too much, but like, I don't know. at least to me, it feels like, especially if she doesn't know what's happening, because she wouldn't, I don't know, I don't think she'd recognize SSK. We don't know when SSK was made, but Sukuna didn't recognize it. He didn't specifically say, oh, would you look at that? It's a replica of the soul split katana made by famous blacksmith, blah, 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 blah. He didn't recognize it. And it rose from that same period. So she'd likely be like, oh, another sword? How dare you? And then she'd try to react, and then Toji would just cleave her fingers off. Not cleave her fingers off, cut her fingers off. Let's see.
Over and over, just wearing him down in a way that, once again, is very not Toji-like.
Yeah. So, like, Toji, the way I'm imagining, you know, Toji airwalks up to Uro or whatever. If she happens to come up behind him after he deals with Kurorushi, he airwalks over to Uro. He's going to have to find a way, because she can obviously parry strikes, whatnot, with her sky manipulation. I don't think, because Inverted Spirit Heaven, it should turn off a curse technique before it actually hits the person, because it turned off. It had to actually reach Gojo. I don't think she'll be able to parry a strike that's coming at her with the Inverted Spirit of Heaven. Now, someone who not only can see through curse techniques like Toji can because of his, you know, his curse resistance and whatnot, but can
you do that? Is that a thing? I know they have curse resistance, but ironically enough, that's the thing. I find it hard to argue. It's the one thing that is difficult to argue about Maki and Toji. What does that even mean? Right? Like, what does curse resistance even mean? Do they take less damage than the average person? Maybe. You could argue that's substantiated in the Sukuna fight, where Maki takes no damage from cleave. Like, no damage at all from cleave. And then, like, takes minimal damage from dismantles. But even then, we don't know what that would mean. Like, I don't know. It's vague enough that, like, if I'm trying to be pro Maki and pro Toji, I'd bring it up and be like, oh, they have curse resistance. And, like, if you ever hear me argue, oh, well, how could Maki and Toji resist curse speech? They have curse resistance. Duh. I'd say that. But, like, you would look at me and I'd look at you and be like, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't think it means that they can immediately see through techniques. I think it is heavily reliant on their knowledge. Toji does need to study up on his opponents. Like, he didn't see through curse spirit manipulation. He's like, I don't know what happens if you die. He had curse resistance then. He's like, I have no clue. So I'm going to leave you alive just in case it's something annoying. So, I don't know. I wouldn't say they can see through curse techniques. I'd say Gojo can mostly do that, but even then, he clearly can't fully see through curse techniques. He didn't see Sleep Sukunas. So, if the Six Eyes can't do it, I don't think Maki and Toji can do it either. But let's
see different movements in the atmosphere and actually, like, perceive the atmosphere and changes. Should be able to notice that's what she's doing. And even if he doesn't, Uro literally just yapped to Yuta what her curse technique is in order to get
showing your hand, bro.
The benefit that you get whenever the disclosure amp, whatever you want to call it. So Toji should be able to handle Uro that way, just using the Inverted Spirit of Heaven and then, like, a combination of Soul Split Katana. What really makes the matchup interesting, just like Sendai Colony, is if Ryu jumps into the mix, how does he deal with both?
Here's the big issue though, right? Ryu jumps into the mix. It doesn't mean he's going to be immediately fighting just Toji. He's going to be fighting Toji and Uro. And remember, Toji still has precog. So he's going to sense up, like, say he's in the exact scenario that Ryu and Uro were in, where Ryu's, like, standing miles away, or, like, a whole city block away, and he's like, man, y'all two are having too much fun without me. And he fires a blast. If Yuta can flat out react to and dodge that blast, Toji with his precog is dodging that blast. Then he disappears. He runs up on Ryu. He's like, you're probably bulky too. SSKs him. Ryu goes to block the sword and loses his hands. Then Ryu's out of the fight. That's the thing. Like, I say this all the time, Maki and Toji are legit matchup checks. If you can beat Maki and Toji, you're good. But very few characters can beat Maki and Toji because of how good their matchup check is. They have Durineg, precog, and a really high speed. That's all you need. That's all you need. If you can't get hit and I hit you and the damage is permanent, that's it. You lose. So, Ryu, despite me being confident in saying Ryu's a top 10 tier character overall with a domain expansion, the highest output in the verse, the highest durability in the verse, and stuff like that, I can't sit here and lie to you and say that he loses to Maki and Toji. Or he beats Maki and Toji. I can't. Because there's no proof. Bro got blitzed by 16 finger Sukuna. Not to talk of, a full output Sukuna. Not a full output Sukuna, a full hand body Sukuna, which Monkey admittedly does get blitzed by, but that's after Sukuna starts trying and locks in, which we know increases his power levels. I don't know. I don't really see the vision for Ryu, but let's see.
Like, I don't imagine a Granite Blast would just immediately incapacitate Toji, but if he's turning off Uro's curse technique, what's to stop Ryu from just blasting her? Because that's why he wasn't doing it in the first place.
And once again, it comes to the question, how long does it take for a curse technique to turn back on? Is the Emergency of Heaven like a post-domain burnout, where it takes a little bit before you get your technique back? Or with Inverted Spirit of Heaven, since it's the forced stoppage, it's not like a burnout. The moment he pulls it out, pause. Well, no, pause. The moment Toji yanks it out of somebody, then does that immediately allow them to turn it back on? If so, then Earl could probably still turn it back on and react in time to dodge or redirect the Granite Blast. But if it is like post-technique burnout, then yeah, Ryu just one-shots Earl. Or not one-shots, because she ate that too. She lived. You'd had to heal her, but she lived. Look at that. She's fine, for the most part. Not fine, but still.
Right? So, I mean
the big thing to me is just that the Granite Blast is pretty reactable. Yuta does it. I'll say this, right? Yuta, the first time I think he gets hit directly with a Granite Blast, I mean, Yuta just kind of survives it.
The first time Yuta gets hit by Granite Blast, he's literally punching Ryu in the head as Ryu's firing. Then the second time he palms it for some reason. He doesn't just dodge it. He did not have to catch that second Granite Blast. Yuta did that solely to flex, by the way. I'll be completely honest. Yuta, a lot of people say he's humble. It is. But he caught that second Granite Blast solely to flex. There's no reason that he could have just... He was in midair, though. So maybe he did have to palm it, but still, he could have done other things than what he did. He palmed the Granite Blast just to see how durable he was. And to flex a little bit. But yeah, Maki and Toji can dodge in midair. And they can dodge at close range. And they can dodge at mid-range. Granite Blast is never hitting them. Let's see.
Of RCT, right? If he got his whole body incinerated, we probably would have gotten some indication that the damage was super duper extensive, but it wasn't really. Not to say he took no damage, he didn't no-sell it or tank it completely, but Yuta was more fine than he wasn't. And then Ishigori actually mentions, like, he actually palmed my Granite Blast with his bare hands. And obviously Yuta, very tanky, very durable guy. I would say that Toji and Maki also can definitely lay claim to being very tanky, very durable. So I don't think one or two Granite Blasts are taking them out the game for sure.
I'll say this though, since I'm personally, like, in spite of me being a guy who does still believe that if you give Maki and Toji earplugs, they take Yuta for a walk. That's the thing. The only thing I'll give Yuta fans, curse speech. Curse speech is weird. I don't know if they can resist it. And they clearly can't block it the way other people would. But if I were to hand them some earplugs and they stick it in their ears, I think they take Yuta for a walk. A little bit of prep time, literally just running down to the store and getting the earplugs. I think they wash Yuta. I'll still say I think Yuta would be more durable than them. But at the same time, you can make an argument for Maki Toji too. It's weird. It's stupid. Once again, I'll go on a full video explaining it. I'll explain why Yuta versus Maki Toji is a weird matchup, just based on their respective feats. Like, because they take comparable amounts of damage from Nerf Sukuna, and they just have better reaction speed. Like, once again, I'm sorry. I've seen some of the arguments, and like, I'll ask this: if any Yuta Glazers or Yuta Yuckers are here 133 minutes in, golly, do y'all think Yuta has better combat speed? Do you think Maki and Toji, or Yuta swings as fast as Maki and Toji, and Yuta can react to the same things that Maki and Toji can? Do you think that? And why? I know that, and that's not even like me being like downplaying Yuta or anything. I still have Yuta in top 5, undeniably. Arguably top 3. I put him on. I can see the arguments for him being in top 3 generally. But why? Let me know. I am just legitimately intrigued, just based on what we've seen both react to. I really just don't see the vision that I see a lot of Yuta fans see. So please explain it. I don't fully get it. But bulk wise, I'd say Yuta's above. I'd give that. So I think if Maki and Toji do get hit by a Granite Blast, whatever they got hit by is like charred or burnt off. Like, say Toji goes to do what Yuta did and just tries to palm the Granite Blast, I think he loses that hand. I think it's gone. Just like Yuta lost his hand. If not worse, he may lose that whole arm. But I just don't see him getting hit by the Granite Blast. Let's see.
Sukuna also seems to think pretty highly of Maki's durability. She comes back from a Black Flash, gets hit with another one, a cleave.
The question is, what do you think hits harder? 16 Finger Sukuna New Way Lightning, or Ryu, or Ryu's Granite Blast? What do you think hits harder? Dismantles from a Sukuna who's starting to get his output back, or Ryu and his Granite Blast? What do you think hits harder? A Sukuna Black Flash, or a Ryu Granite Blast? That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe Sukuna's Black Flash hits harder. If it does, then maybe they just eat. Who knows? Let's see.
Multiple slashes, blah blah blah. Like Toji and Maki on attacks that aren't just obliterating them instantly or like removing limbs or basically a purple. I think they're going to be more fine than not. In the case of that, it's just about closing distance or taking advantage of, how should I put this? Taking advantage of any gaps that show. Because I honestly think one thing that would be really interesting to actually see is how does Toji's prior experience of fighting people that manipulate space, i.e. Gojo and the Limitless, how that interacts with how he perceives Uro. Because, you know,
he unironically, if that would actually probably make Toji lock in immediately, which is horrid for Uro, because sky manipulation is watered down Limitless. I wholeheartedly agree with that, but it still kind of looks like the Limitless with space manipulation. If Toji sees that he's fighting a space manipulator, he's probably immediately locking it. He's pulling out Inverted Spear, and if he can't do damage with Inverted Spear, he's pulling out SSK immediately. That man will have trauma flashbacks because he'd be scared of purple. Because that's the thing, he didn't know about purple because he was fighting a space manipulator and underestimated them. If you bring Toji, like say Toji comes back to life, he brings his worm back, then he runs the Culling games. Oh, he may become bloodlusted against Uro. Instantaneously, he would freak out, just like anybody would freak out if you put them up against the same thing that took them out the first time. Of course, and he wouldn't be able to tell. He'd just assume, oh no, spatial manipulation, not again, and he would freak out and attack at full force. At least in my opinion.
Going from person that can't be touched to, oh yeah, she counters me, but that's about it. She counters by like folding space and stuff like that. I honestly don't think Toji would be all that confused. We see he deals with blue pretty easily. The anime makes it even more clear where he's just like, oh, I'm getting dragged over here, getting dragged over there. That's fine. I'll just move faster than what you can perceive. I don't know if you necessarily disagree. I'm not saying Toji's perception blitzing Uro per se, but I will say airwalking plus his level of speed probably isn't making it easy for Uro. Where Ishigori comes in, I can see that being an issue, but I also don't know if I think that he's getting hit by too many. If he pulls a Yuta and he just basically runs up on him same way, do you think he handles him? Because I basically look at Ishigori as just Kashimo, but with higher output, specifically with Granite Blast as well.
I feel that.
Kashimo with higher output and lower speed. I agree. Yeah, that's basically what Ryu is. And it's why it's so ironic that Kashimo follows Ryu immediately, because he is just a Ryu with less range. A Ryu with less range who has to hit you more. That's the thing. It's funny when you think about it that way.
I don't think it's that. He gets up close, and in the encounter in which Yuta and him like slam backs, yeah, Ishigori might be cooked. Or Toji might like, nah, bro. He might say some. Nah, I don't like touching guys, bro. Like Toji just gives me the vibe of somebody that would say something like that. Cut him up and keep it pushing. Inverted Spear of Heaven wouldn't have much usefulness here because Ishigori's Granite Blasts are just as strong.
Yeah.
Without Curse Technique activation.
That's one thing that could jack Toji up though. If he makes the mistake of trying to catch a Granite Blast on Inverted, like he tries to mention what he mentions he could do in the manga with Red, where he just tries to block with Inverted Spear, he's losing that hand and he's losing Inverted Spear. Both get vaporized because Granite Blast wouldn't change. It's just a cursed energy output, which is something that supposedly any sorcerer can do. Yuta can do it, Ryu can do it. No one else does for some reason though. Not even the guy with infinite cursed energy. But still, it's something that's just generic. Apparently people can't do it. It's just super inefficient. But Ryu, he can do it just fine. And that would absolutely take off Toji's hand if he wasn't ready for
it. We get a statement about that, which is, I'm not gonna lie, one of the weirdest things Gigi's put up there. Like, it was just like a really weird thing to note. But whatever, right? Soul Split is gonna be the big thing. Also, I just didn't mention it because you were talking, but another thing is the Chain of 1,000 Miles plus Inverted Spear combo is an extra thing that could help when fighting against Uro. even if he couldn't jump on air?
I personally, I don't think so. I think he does have to get up on arrow, mainly because I think he needs to use SSK. It's real hard to argue. Once again, just due to a lack of feats. Due to a lack of feats and how bulky Earl's been shown to be, eating hits from fully manifested Rika, I think the inverted, while it would turn off Sky Manipulation, it wouldn't turn off her bulk. It wouldn't turn off her curse entry reinforcement. So you kind of just sit there and eat it. So I don't think that's a combo that works too well. That's me though. Let me see.
I think that would also be nice to just be able to use that. He was pretty confident in using that against Gojo when he could fly. Before he noticed that Hollow Purple was a thing, he was like, all right, cool. I'll just, I can use this from far, and I can also bring it back quick enough to protect me from any damage. I think that is also a weapon combo that, just due to the nature of Gojo using purple, he doesn't get to show off all that much, but it would definitely help out.
Yeah. I mean, Ryu, like, I kind of do view Ryu kind of the same way, like Kashimo, but with higher durability. I'm a little bit more impressed with Ryu just because I think Ryu is fighting a stronger battle than what Kashimo is fighting, not including Sukuna, just, against Hikari.
I agree.
But the thing about Ryu with, him having that crazy durability, the soul split just sort of takes care of that. Like, Ryu has this crazy durability, but Yuta didn't have.
That's the thing. I personally, you look at the guy who ranked the 4 stats of JJK and put durability at the bottom, because I think it is the least important. But it is super important when you don't have Duraneg. But think of a lot of our top tiers. They either have just enough power to basically have Duraneg, like your Tojis, not like your Toji, like your Gojos, and like your Sukunas. They're just strong enough. But Sukuna has Duraneg. He has Cleave. Gojo has spatial manipulation, which is not apparently innately Duraneg, because Hollow Purple can be eaten, I guess. But still, that's the thing. Maki, Duraneg. Yuta, he got Duraneg in both Sky Manipulation and Cleave. Heck, Yuji, Duraneg now. Maki, Toji, Duraneg. A lot of the top tiers, a lot of your characters who you're going to hear in the top 10s, the top 15 discussions. Heck, for the people who still have Mahito rated super duper high, Duraneg, even though I don't think it's as effective because you can resist it, but still, there are a lot of the strongest characters in JJK have Duraneg. And when you have Duraneg, it's very lethal. What you need, I say this all the time, and this isn't just in the JJK sense, it's in like a versus sense in general. If you have more speed than your opponent and you can negate their durability consistently, you win. That's all it takes. The rest of the stats kind of don't matter. If you're fast enough to avoid their hacks, and their hacks aren't like universally affecting, like they don't immediately happen the moment they think it, and immediately spawn on you, you cook. It's easy. Right. Let's see.
Have his sword when he fought Ryu. His sword got handled whenever he was fighting with Kururushi. And I think that Yuta's sword would have made a giant difference in the fight. I mean, it's just more AP that he could have versus Ryu. And I mean, this sword specifically, I mean, why wouldn't it be a gigantic help against someone like him? And this is also a fight where, like, domain expansion is the wrong move. Like, this isn't what you should do when you're up
and they
against
wouldn't know
like
that.
Toji.
They would have no idea because
they'd have no clue.
Even if they're like, oh, he has no cursed energy, this is weird. Now you knew that Maki had no cursed energy, idolized Toji, and still had no idea that opening a domain would lead to basically Maki not being caught within it and also being able to ignore the sure hit. So there's no reason to believe that your average sorcerer knows about how they interact with domains, because let's be real, how many times do you really think Ishigori and Uro have ever encountered someone like Toji and Maki? My guess, none.
Literally never. I think, at least from what we know of known cases of Maki and Toji, they're the only two. Toji's the only naturally born one, by the way. As far as we know, Toji's the only naturally born heavenly restriction user with 0 cursed energy. It's why he's such a unique phenomenon. Yuki, who's been doing research and has enough research to fully understand and know the soul well enough to teach Yuji through a book, is like, I've never heard of anything. It's the one rare case that's ever happened in the modern day, and we have no records of anyone in the past having it. It's why Sukuna was interested in it in the first place, and no other sorcerer recommends it or mentions it from the different eras we see. So they would have no clue. They would open domains, and then Toji wouldn't be there. Then they have to domain clash themselves if they're all fighting together, or if they're fighting Toji one-on-one, he just disappears. And then places them in half of the SSK. Let's see.
So they're like opening a domain, they're expending all of that curse energy. Oh my god, bro, we gotta, Toji's too quick, he's moving too much, that soul split, first of all,
Language,
if they
language.
gotten hit by it and didn't die, that's crazy. But let's say they did, right? Whatever. It's a glancing blow. They open the domains. Uro's technique's now burned out. Toji's taking advantage. Easy. And then Ishigori, sure, his technique isn't lessened, but he just expanded a domain and lowered his cursed energy reserve significantly. He's going into that fight a different Ishigori, with no upside, by the way, a different Ishigori than when he came out. And, like, even Karushi joining back, I mean, that's just a non-factor. He comes back to get killed again. Who cares? I honestly think that once Toji realizes, I honestly think it would be something sort of akin to how Sukuna fought Ishigori, where Toji's gonna punch against him. He's like, all right, bro, we not doing this. I'm not hitting you 1,000 times for you to go down. He's pulling out Soul Split, and then he's hitting him with that blitz through, cutting his head off, cutting him in half. Whatever you think Toji would do in character, that's kind of how I perceive it, because I also don't view Toji as the type to deal with it. When Geto brought out his most durable curse, Toji instantly brought out Soul Split and then just cut through it and then puts it away, because, hey, dealing with durable stuff, I don't care. Don't want to. I'm good. I'm good off that. And that just seems like very much in Toji's character.
And then another thing about the domain is, like, Maki and Toji, since they don't get trapped immediately, they can, like, sort of load into domains. It's really weird, but versus Naoya, Maki's already stabbing Naoya while she's not all the way in the domain. Like, her left leg hasn't completely loaded in yet. It looks really weird, but that's the case. So, like, they bring the domains out. That might be the wrong move on two fronts. Like, not only can you not touch Toji with the domain, but now he's able to hit you and you don't know anything about it. There's no way for you to perceive it.
And you know the crazy thing is, Toji wouldn't even have to do that. Like, the main reason Maki does that to Naoya is because SSK was in Daido's hand when Naoya opened the domain, and thusly Maki didn't have access to it outside. But realistically, let's say Toji's worm and his cursed tools get trapped inside, he's kicked out of the domains, or he leaves them. He just punches the domain barrier, which we know is super duper fragile, and I'd say he hits hard enough to shatter the domain shell, because we know they're weaker on the outside in order to trap people inside. He shatters it, he runs back in, he grabs his tool, he grabs his worm, and he slices them to bits, while they're both in Cursed Technique Burnout, because Ryu's still not hitting him, and Uro has Cursed Technique Burnout, and she's not going to be able to defend herself. So yeah, they are... And that's if you think the worm and SSK get trapped. If you think they don't get trapped, if they get the Toji treatment and they're just free with Toji, then it's even worse. Then he runs in with them and just slices them apart. Let's see.
He's not even completely in your domain yet.
One of the craziest things I think Toji would do as well is he would let them open the domain. He would let them fight in the domain, and he would just, whoever wins, he would just fight. That's actually some Toji in my head. Yeah. Like, oh, they open the domain. Oh man, Uro and Ishigori are fighting. They're gonna be like, what the hell? But they're gonna have to fight each other. I mean, they're not allies, right? Open that domain, fight it out. Say Ishigori wins, say Uro wins. Who cares, right? Whoever lost, all right, cool. You lost. Now he's just fighting
your reward, fighting Toji,
Ishigori or Uro, and we already basically expressed how we feel he fights them at full power, 1-on-1 and 2-on-1, and we basically give the Toji the advantage there. Imagine just Toji just sitting back like, all right, bro, I'll wake me up when the domain shuts down. I'll clock back in then or something. There's just so many options for Toji in a scenario like this, in which it just does not end well for either of them. It doesn't end well for Sendai Colony in general.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, Tokyo Colony #1, Tokyo Colony #2, Sendai Colony. Like, we could go over Sakurajima, but Maki was already there.
It's just
Toji.
Let's be real, bro. Naoya is getting. I mean, he's a curse at this point, but he's still somehow getting on his hands and knees, bro. He's just he's just not my glorious king Toji. It's not happening, bro.
Yeah, he wouldn't even fight.
And even if he does decide to fight him, he's not evolving.
Yeah,
like, he's never getting past worm stage.
Yeah, and Toji wouldn't allow that anyway. Like, it's just really bad. You know what's so crazy? That point where Maki looks up at Naoya and is like, oh, he would have reached him. Yeah, that's what we would literally see. Naoya jumps up there to get away, and then Toji's like, I don't know why you thought that was gonna work. But it doesn't, it won't. And there's just not any colonies that we've seen in which I think that Toji would have any issue. I'm not even sure if there are any players in general like on the that are not on the good guy squad that would even warrant too much conversation in general. Not even. I mean, we've been talking for like 40 minutes, so obviously some of them warrant conversation. But I more mean that you can make a very serious case beat Toji more often than they don't.
Yeah. The only other like important heavy hitting guy in there is like Kenjaku, but then with Kenjaku he can like sneak up on him. Like Yuda's like, well, Maki could have did what I did.
Exactly.
I just wanted to kill him myself.
You could also say like maybe Yorozu, although she wasn't really in any particular colony where she fought, but hot take, I don't think Yorozu's giving.
Yorozu versus Maki and Toji is weird. I'll admit. Like, it really depends. Was Sukuna holding back physicals too? You think? If he was, then Yorozu's cooked. She's fodder. And her domain doesn't work, so she would never land perfect spear. But if you think Sukuna wasn't holding back at all and need to go all out against Yorozu, all his physicals, 16 figure Sukuna scaling is solid. But do you think Yorozu hits fast? I brought it up again. Do you think Yorozu's faster than Cursia? Do you think Yorozu's faster than a full champ world slash? You think any of her attacks are faster? Oh, she's real durable? Duraneg. I don't know. I could. It's why I say confidently all times Maki is the strongest woman in the series, even stronger than Yuki. And I know the Yuki fans aren't gonna like that, but Yuki gets one tap. But let's see.
Toji all that much trouble either.
Yeah. Like Yorozu, she's strong, but Inverted Spirit Heaven should get rid of like her curse.
Everything.
Yeah.
True Sphere is whatever.
Ooh,
because without the sure hit imbued on it, it's just gonna be kind of all right. Another attack to dodge, I guess. And her baser ability just sucks. So
yeah.
It's not that good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
so,
what would happen if Toji were in the Culling games? He would dominate. That is what would happen.
And until he got to Shinjuku with Sukuna and Gojo, there he would die.
Then bro's getting flashbacks to his last life. He's like, you know what?
I'm gonna leave.
You gotta know. He can't make the same mistake twice, bro. Because he's gonna see a 200% hollow purple and realize, wow, I'm not built for this. Yeah.
I'm gonna run this time. I'm gonna get over this time. But yeah, obviously, go subscribe to Broken Ronin's channel. He makes a lot of good videos.
He does.
Appreciate you having me on here, man. We definitely have some collabs on our channel talking about crossverse, JJK, inverse, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check that out. Appreciate you having me on, man. I'm sure we'll get some more collabs on both of our channel coming soon too.
If anyone is here, I think this is now my longest video on the channel. If everything works out well, this is my longest video. Wow, I was Kid Kuro. I was gonna ask if people wanted me to react to you. I probably will anyway for the fun of it. I love but the Ben 10 breakdowns are even long. I couldn't do it. It would take forever. I couldn't do that. I've been here for 2 hours. This is the longest video on the channel, I think. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, somehow, this is longer than a feature-length film. Some of them, not as long as Endgame. Wait till I drop a 3-hour video. Oh, sweet mother mercy. But if you somehow made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave toe jam. Because Toji jammed up, like, get it, toe, as in Toji, and then jam, as in, like, he jammed up the Culling games because he ruined it all, because he slaughtered everybody. Yeah, toe jam. Leave toe jam in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you go check out Broken Ronin. Make sure you go check out 6. Make sure you go check out the original video. It's all linked in the description down below. They did a fantastic job. They broke down everything. I had some minor, like, addendums, but, like, we literally agreed on everything. Toji kind of washes. Culling games Maki and Toji are a bad matchup for the Culling games. Who would have thought they're a bad matchup for most of the verse? So overall, a W video. Let me hit the. A W video indeed. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. And so now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reactions to the very last few chapters of JJK, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 29 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is, in fact, that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Sierra, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, Brandon Payne, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $7 members, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, Zombie Hunter, and Austin Wimberly. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons, Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami.
And I'd like to give the craziest, juiciest, most next-level, quadruple, sloppy, toppy, next-level superhuman in beyond this world kidney heaven thank you to our $100 patron, or that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.